get children to be critical thinkers? How do you get people to have the confidence to not necessarily go on the traditional path? We're arguing that as a country, you cannot have the transformation to more sustainable thinking if you didn't have a very strong educational program. The challenge was in terms of action, because new things were happening all the time. And people were imitating development solutions, which you saw abroad, from societies which already had come to the conclusion that this type of fossil fuel-based economies were not the future. So what were we doing? Chasing a future which is not the future. And what do you need to do in education so people would understand that? And in a sense leapfrog the industrial revolution to go to the sustainability revolution. So how do you do that? And the question which was being asked was, can a country like India afford to talk about environment when its people are poor, when people are not going to school? Should we just develop first and then figure it out later? And I think this was expressed by our then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in '72 at Stockholm by saying that actually there are two sides of the same coin. And India recognized that without a strong environmental program, you couldn't solve poverty. But also that if you didn't solve poverty, you couldn't protect your environment. But in '93, something else happened in India, which is very important, that the Supreme Court of India passed a judgment saying that if people in India are supposed to protect the environment, which is a constitutional duty, they cannot do it without an environmental education program. So it became mandatory and compulsory for every formal educational program, at whatever level, at tertiary level, secondary, primary, to have an environmental education component. So it's okay to do a lot of things, but there are also things which came out of some of the latest technologies. So we wanted to bring awareness amongst people to be able to make the right choices. And that became the challenge. But what was that sustainable development? Where were we going? And then suddenly you found the whole movement looking at SDGs. For the first time, you have a list of the 17 main goals with 169 different targets, which are attempting to be the first list of things which are sustainable minimum goals which humanity needs. And this is agreed by so many countries. It's incredible the fact that even that should happen. And then soon after September, in November, you had the Paris Agreement, and you had the INDC, the intended nationally determined targets or goals for climate change. So now you have the SDGs. You have spent a whole decade looking at ESD, Education for Sustainable Development, how environmental education can be used for this purpose. So now you've got all that set up. Now the challenge is how to get it into the system. How do you get more people to believe that this is in fact what needs to be done, that education is not just for education, but it is for development. Yes, I see that is the big challenge, not only for us, but for all of the planet, that people need to recognize that a lot can be done with an aware citizenship, an aware decision maker, an aware businessman, an aware policy maker, and an aware president.
Visit greenteacher.com to find links to other videos, webinars, books, and Green Teacher, our quarterly magazine for youth educators. While there, sign up for our free mailing list to learn more about upcoming free webinars and videos.